future! Well, we did steal it, didn't we? Can we stop it?
Even though it's still early days for the Split Fiction movie, things are already heating up in a big way. The project, which is a collaboration between Wicked director John M. Chu and rising Hollywood star Sydney Sweeney, has officially been snapped up after a competitive bidding war. According to reports, Amazon MGM Studios is now close to securing the rights to the adaptation, and the deal is valued at over $2 million. That's no small number, especially when you consider how many studios were fighting for it, including major players like Sony. So, what makes Split Fiction such a hot commodity? It comes down to a rare and exciting mix, a successful video game with strong IP potential, a director who's proven he can deliver blockbusters, and a leading actress whose career is soaring right now. Sydney Sweeney's star power alone makes the project stand out. She's got a jam-packed 2025 with films like Eden, Echo Valley, Americana, and The Housemaid already lined up, not to mention other major projects like a Barbarella remake and a Christy Martin biopic also in development. The movie adaptation is based on Split Fiction, a newly released video game from Hazelight Studios, the creative team behind the hugely popular It Takes Two. Built with Unreal Engine, the game tells the story of two writers, Mio Hudson and Zoe Foster, who end up trapped inside a simulation created by a tech firm called Raider Publishing. Now, this isn't just any simulation either. It's a bizarre AI-powered world that extracts and manipulates the creative thoughts of its participants. To escape, Mio and Zoe must travel through wild and genre-blending landscapes based on their own submitted stories, sci-fi for Mio and fantasy for Zoe. Sweeney has been confirmed to play one of the two lead characters, though it hasn't been revealed whether she'll portray Mio or Zoe. Either way, she's stepping into a role that combines emotional depth with high-concept storytelling, which makes Split Fiction a perfect fit for her evolving filmography. Deadline's report that Amazon MGM Studios is near to closing this deal says a lot about how confident Hollywood is in this adaptation. You don't often see a newly released game spark this kind of interest so quickly, especially not in a market that's already filled with video game movies in the pipeline. But Split Fiction is clearly different. The game itself has already sold over 2 million copies in just its first week, and April didn't have many other major releases, giving it room to shine. If it keeps up this momentum, it could surpass Hazelight's previous hit, A Way Out, which sold 11 million units. What makes all of this even more exciting is that Hazelight Studios isn't just licensing out their game, they're expanding their brand in some seriously ambitious ways. Split Fiction marks their second attempt at turning one of their games into a movie. The first was It Takes Two, which has been in development for a few years, with Sonic the Hedgehog writers Pat Casey and Josh Miller attached, and Dwayne Johnson reportedly producing. While progress on that film seems to have slowed a bit, Split Fiction is picking up momentum at lightning speed. Hazelight is partnering with Story Kitchen on the film, the same production team that helped bring Sonic the Hedgehog to theaters. That's a smart move, because Story Kitchen knows how to turn video game concepts into commercially successful, family-friendly action adventures. They're currently working to finalize the rest of the cast, along with a director and a full production package, although John M. Chu is already in place and the script is being handled by none other than Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, the writing duo behind Deadpool and the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine. With all these ingredients coming together, there's good reason to believe that Split Fiction could become a major hit. Now, let's dig a little deeper into the story behind Split Fiction, because it's not just your average action movie plot. The game follows Mio Hudson and Zoe Foster, two writers invited to test out a next-gen simulation device at Raider Publishing. It's marketed as a way to turn written stories into vivid, immersive experiences. The machine, as it's called, places writers into a state of suspended animation where they live out their stories firsthand. Zoe sees it as a golden opportunity to finally make it as a published author, while Mio just wants the paycheck and doesn't trust the whole operation. Things take a turn when a technical glitch causes Mio to accidentally end up inside Zoe's fantasy story bubble. From there, the entire simulated world begins to unravel. The two characters bounce between their creative worlds, science fiction and fantasy, as the system struggles to cope with two minds sharing the same simulation. Eventually, the glitch spreads so much that it threatens the stability of the entire system. Meanwhile, CEO J.D. Rader refuses to shut the machine down because he sees too much potential in the ideas being mined from the participants' subconscious minds. This leads to a discovery that Rader and his team aren't just using the submitted stories, they're stealing dormant, unfinished ideas straight from the writer's memories. That's a terrifying thought, especially for artists whose creativity is being exploited without consent. Once Zoe and Mio realize what's going on, they hatch a plan to destabilize the simulation by hunting down even more glitches. Their goal? Crash the system and escape with their minds intact. As they travel through these chaotic worlds, they not only face sci-fi and fantasy threats, but also come to terms with deep emotional scars. Zoe is still haunted by the death of her sister Ella, which she blames herself for. Mio, on the other hand, has been emotionally shut off for years, using logic and detachment to protect herself from past trauma. These purse-god-like uggles begin to surface more and more as the story unfolds, adding layers of meaning to the adventure. At one point, the situation grows so dire that the characters are thrown into their own subconscious minds. There, they must confront their darkest fears. Mio has to face a twisted version of herself, Dark Mio, who embodies all her repressed anger and sorrow. Zoe, meanwhile, must relive the painful memories of losing her sister. These moments aren't just filler, they're the heart of the story, showing how both characters begin to heal through their shared experiences. Eventually, Rader, desperate to regain control, forces himself into the simulation. He transforms into a godlike entity and tries to destroy them. But Mio and Zoe, now united and stronger than ever, manage to defeat him and destroy the machine once and for all. When the police show up to arrest Rader, the writers leave the facility not just as survivors, but as friends. A year later, they publish a novel called Split Fiction based on everything they went through. The beauty of this premise is that it combines everything fans love: action, emotion, imagination, and a healthy dose of sci-fi weirdness. And with Sydney Sweeney on board, the movie is already drawing massive attention. She brings a mix of vulnerability and confidence that fits perfectly into a character like Mio or Zoe, both of whom are written as layered and compelling women. So, what does all this mean for the future of Split Fiction? It means that Hazelight is quickly becoming more than just a video game studio. They're building a brand, one that could rival some of the bigger names in entertainment if this momentum keeps up. Sure, they're still small, with a team of just over 80 people, but the creative ambition coming out of this studio is on another level. If they manage to keep their hands in the development of both the games and the films, they could shape a whole new wave of interactive-inspired storytelling in Hollywood. And let's not forget, this could be just the beginning. If Split Fiction lands well with audiences, it might pave the way for more adaptations of Hazelight's deeply narrative co-op games. Whether it's It Takes Two or a future original, this new blend of gaming and cinema is definitely something to keep an eye on. In the meantime, all signs point to Split Fiction becoming one of the most exciting projects on the horizon. A story that mixes genre-bending gameplay with emotional depth, backed by a team of seasoned creatives and led by one of Hollywood's most in-demand actresses. With everything that's been revealed so far, it looks like Split Fiction could become the rare video game movie that actually lives up to its potential. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.